tweet from Charlie. Maritza Ramos deserved better. That's it. That's the tweet. And I'm so excited to be sitting down with Diane Guerrero, the actor, author, and activist who plays her on Orange is the New Black. Welcome. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to give a little teeny tiny spoiler alert to our viewers because we're going to be talking about the new season of Orange is the New Black. But I have to say your character returns for this season and what happens to her is extremely affecting. So did you anticipate this storyline at all just from the beginning of the series and to where she ended up?
Gosh, no. I mean, I like to say that I found my voice on Orange is the New Black just because, I mean, how could you not be inspired by so many amazing women who are telling their truth and sharing these powerful stories? And of course, you can't help but connecting to such human stories because obviously I'm a human and I'm experiencing all of this at the same time. But no, I didn't think, I mean, but I'm so glad that we did tackle the storyline because it's obviously much needed. And I mean, obviously it's a part of the criminal justice system and we're in jail. So it's good to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, the show has always been so timely. You mentioned the criminal justice system. And of course, this season, a good deal takes place in a nice detention center as well. But there's not just one story, right? There's not just one kind of story that we're seeing in the detention center.
Yeah.
Why was it important to show that these stories are not a monolith?
Well, I mean, I think that a big problem that we've had always, but especially now, is this lack of empathy. And, you know, when you go into this work, you think, well, what am I doing? What is it that I'm doing to make a difference? And sometimes you don't think that these stories really help people understand what we're dealing with. And some of the response that I've had with this storyline and Maritza's storyline is that people are actually being affected. And so when we share stories like this, we can have better conversations. We are inspired to do more research. We empathize with the human experience. And that's what we have always done on Orange. And that has always been our mission, is to humanize people that have been labeled as criminals, right? And what we do is so easily throw these people away. And when we don't understand what kind of circumstances have put them in there. And what Orange does so wonderfully is that we share those circumstances and those systemic barriers that lead people to incarceration.
You mentioned just seeing the outpouring of responses to your character, also to Blanca. What is it like when you are seeing these responses come in?
I was so surprised. I mean, I've talked about immigration and the need for reform for a little bit now, and I was still so afraid to talk about this even on this show, just worried about how people would connect to it or how people would respond. I really wanted to do this story justice, but it's been overwhelming. People have been empathizing and just, I mean, regardless of what they see on the news every day, children in cages, families being separated, they are still affected by seeing the story play out on Orange. And it's just wonderful, and it's so redeeming.
I think you said earlier that this helped you kind of find your own voice. And a couple years ago, you wrote in your own book, In the Country We Love, about how your parents and your brother were deported when you were just 14 years old. Just working on such a political project like Orange is the New Black helped inspire you, or at least make you feel affirmed when you're sharing your own story? Absolutely.
When you have a community of people who are supportive, who are understanding of your experience, you are emboldened by that, by that love and that compassion, that you want to also make a difference, and you want to use your voice in this way that that you see others using their voices. So of course I was inspired by obviously the stories that we were telling, but also the incredible people we were working with.
As someone who experienced a form of family separation personally, do you think the people implementing these policies understand the human cost?
They don't care. They don't care because profit is put over people, and we're so easily driven by that we forget that these are real human lives. And the more we put it away or disguise our intentions by just labeling someone a criminal, it's easy to forget or even try to see how it really affects real families. And that's the reason we're sharing these stories. That's the reason we did this show, is that so people can understand a little bit better what people go through in real life. Like I said, the lack of empathy is rampant. And that needs to change.
That needs to change. Well, you also adapted your story into a children's book. Why is it so important to talk to kids about these issues and to reach them?
Well, this is our future, right? These kids are our future. I saw that you interviewed he was a correspondent, this young man.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people we need making decisions in our country. I'd rather elect this kid than, a lot of the people who I see running, or obviously this current administration. But it's so important. Wait, is this live?
Yeah.
I forgot the question. This is great.
Oh, it's okay. Just why it's important to reach kids.
Right, it's important to reach kids. Yeah, they're our future. And obviously kids are so affected, like I was at 14, so affected by this immigration system, by just the system in general. And we need to equip kids with this knowledge so that they can use this to empower themselves as they get older and help our communities.
Well, one of the things you mentioned is Jaden, who we were talking to, was just so
Jaden.
amazing to talk. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
amazing
gosh.
to talk to about the debate and everything.
I was so impressed.
Yeah. Was there, and speaking of the debate, was there anything that a way that you would like to see the candidates handle criminal justice or education? How would you like to see them handle those issues?
I'd like them to, I'd like to see more emphasis on education, the healthcare, all of that over incarcerating people. I mean, that is what we've relied on heavily in this country, and more so now with this administration. Obviously, this is not anything new. Putting people in jail has been our business, and it continues to be, and that needs to change. And I mean, I think that the only upside of this is that people are realizing how much this country relies on incarceration, because we're incarcerating children. Now it's gotten to that we're like, let's just put kids in jail. That's going to be our way. That's not the way. That's not the solution. We need to prioritize people and not profit.
Well, we got to talk about the Jane the Virgin finale before you go.
Yeah.
What was it like saying goodbye to your character and the cast and the crew for the last time?
Honestly, like people ask me, was it bittersweet? None of it was bitter, because I mean, I got to be on a show, on both these shows, Orange and Jane the Virgin, from their beginning. And I was just I think the word that comes to mind is gratitude. Getting to work with these wonderful people, being on groundbreaking shows. I mean, it's so telling of like who I am. I've always been like a warrior of justice, and it's sort of like a blessing and a curse in a way, because it just means more work for me, to have to worry about these issues all the time, and that kind of being what defines me. But as I get older, as I grow into these roles, and I become family with these people, it's also worth it.
Well, I think that is a great note to end our conversation on. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You can stream all 7 seasons of Orange is the New Black on Netflix. I know that's what I'll be doing. And season 1 of Doom Patrol on DC Universe. Next time, gotta come back to chat about that one, right? But up next, we have more AM to DM.